Hello, this is the TBK podcast with myself, Richard, Tunde, Lawrence, and David. And today we're going to be discussing some of the current boxing news stories and headlines. The first article that I want to discuss is Chris Eubank changing his promotional label. What do you guys think about Chris Eubank?
So is he not with PBC no more then?
No,
No.
he's
He's with the guys that done the W
Yes.
yeah, BS, yeah. I mean, I don't.
it's Sauerland, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't really think much of that, to be honest. I don't really. I mean, I don't get the move. I don't understand what happened. I thought it was with PBC. PBC, they've got fighters there, ain't they? Where he could potentially fight. Like, yeah, I don't. I'll have to see how that materializes. I ain't really got an opinion on that, to be honest. It's like Eubank, he just not really settled, is he? He's just like here, there, and everywhere, and that. And it's like, I don't know. His career's just kind of like going past him without any real consistency, man.
Yeah.
And I think it's because of, like, I don't know. I mean, he's been with Frank Warren, he's been with Eddie Hearn, he's been with PBC, he's now with these guys.
Yeah.
It's like, let's see what kind of fights he gets from it. And I don't know what kind of guys they have on the roster.
The thing is, go on, Mitch.
Go ahead. So apparently, Sauerland offered him the Golovkin fight, and that's what encouraged him to sign. Golovkin is working with Matchroom, but he's signed to K2, isn't he?
Yeah.
Right.
So, but apparently he's been promised the Golovkin fight, which I don't think is a good fight for Eubank.
No, he'll lose that.
He'll lose. Yeah. So does that sound worthwhile now, signing to get the Golovkin fight? Is that a good career decision?
Nah. I mean, when you consider how many years ago the fight never happened, when he was with Matchroom, I mean, supposedly, you know, if you read between the lines, his inability to see the fight through while he was at Matchroom is the reason why Kell Brook has had a broken orbital in the first place.
Yeah,
exactly. Do you know what I mean? Because Kell Brook apparently wanted to fight when Chris Eubank didn't.
Yeah, he stepped in for Eubank, didn't he?
Yeah. And that was how many years ago now?
Yeah.
Another thing is that it just looks like, you know, the Eubanks are difficult to work with.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hearn alluded to that, just in regards to trying to, you know, sort out that Golovkin fight. And you don't go from, you know, promoter to promoter to promoter unless, you know, there's difficulties with getting, you know, them to you know, to work hand in hand. Notoriously difficult to deal with. And we've seen it. Like, what, in the space of a few years, you've gone from, you know, Frank Rowan to Hearn to Frank Rowan again, or so, PBC, now Sauerland. The only good thing about, you know, signing with Sauerland is that, you know, he'll be in a few more sort of like higher profile fights than he has been. I mean, I even forgotten about ITV.
That's right, yeah.
Like, we've seen that one die a death.
Yeah, for real.
Like,
ITV box office,
you know,
yeah.
And then he's you know, got that. I don't even know the name of that
That's
belt.
what I was about to say.
You know,
you know, it's because of ITV.
PHC belt.
That,
you know,
that LGBT belt.
Yeah.
What belt?
He said the LGBT belt.
Ah, mate.
I mean, it's because of that. It's because of ITV why he's two-time IBO champion.
Hey, like Eubank, man. Leave him alone, man. Leave him alone, man.
I'm not even gonna lie. When I saw that, I don't even know if you've even seen it, Lawrence. When I saw that, I tweeted straight away like, "What is this?" Yeah, because because for me, I'm looking at it, and I forgot he was even at PBC. So when you think about it, I'm not trying to be funny, right? You can't go to every top promotional act. The only thing missing off his resume right now is Top Rank.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and yet still, you've never had really like a standout fight. You had your one moment, yeah. your one moment and you didn't throw a punch for 6 rounds, and that was against Billy Joe. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and Saunders as well. Not Billy Joe Saunders. Flipping.
George Groves.
George Groves, I was going to say. Yeah, sorry, yeah.
Again,
same thing.
Again, he had two moments where he spoke a lot. And then when his opportunity came up to talk with his hands, he was found wanting at the so-called at the top level, because they were both world champions. My thing on this thing is, I mean, I'm kind of glad you did bring it up, because it's becoming a bit of a sideshow now. It's becoming a bit of a thing that you point at and laugh and say, oh, look at these fools, man. Do you know what I mean? Because you know, we've heard it all from him. He's had and the thing is, I won't mind, he's had the opportunities. Mate, you're talking about everyone that's got belts. You were with Eddie Hearn, he's got Andrade. You're with PBC, and you're calling Charlo. Like, what? Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't make it make any less sense if you tried. Really. Do you know what I mean? I think, and as you said, like, you know, he's let his career pass him by, and really, I'm gonna say I think his career has passed him by about any real meaningful action attached to it.
How old is he now? How old is he?
Is he 31?
I think he's 31. Yes. Who's his manager?
His dad. Probably him and his dad, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's where the problem is, I believe. I think the thing with Eubank Jr. he's a very good fighter, but he's limited. He's a very good brawler. I'd say he's an elite brawler. The thing with Eubank is he's not going to be an elite boxer. Anytime he comes up against an elite boxer, they'll beat him. Yeah. Someone who stands in front of him and wants to fight, he'll beat them. So if he was matched properly, he'd be a multiple-time champion. Yeah. You should never be signing for him to fight Billy Joe or George Groves. Those type of movers are terrible for him, because he doesn't have the boxing fundamentals. What he has is a unique engine and really good athleticism
and a good chin, to be fair.
And a good chin. Yeah. So against the right opponents, even good opponents, he could win, but they need to be the type of opponents who come to him, who want to fight, and he can outwork them. But he's been matched against boxers, and I think he'll lose every time.
Yeah, he will. Because I mean, I was saying that about him. Sorry, I was saying that about him before he actually fought George Groves. But also, I remember something that I was watching one time. I think he was in camp with like the Mayweathers, and J. Leon Love was like, you know, who does his dad think he is? Do you know what I mean? Like his dad's talking about, he was saying about Chris Senior was trying to get him ready for Golovkin, and he's like, yo, I'm in his division and he ain't even fought me yet. And you're telling me to get him ready for Golovkin, and he said it straight. He was like, you know what, Junior, yeah, he's cool, but his dad, nah, man, that dude's an asshole. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I remember. No, because what happened was J. Leon Love, he had just lost the fight, he'd just been knocked out. Yeah, and Eubank Jr. wanted him to spar with Junior, but J. Leon didn't want to spar because he'd been told to rest basically by the border control in it. You know, once you get knocked out, you have to take a break in it. Sparring and everything. Yeah, and Eubank Senior was just, you know, he was. I think he was trying to banter with him in it. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Goad him into going into sparring, but I just don't think J. Leon took light to it, kind of.
No, you know what? I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that, because if you think about it, he's been talking about Golovkin from the jump. Like from the, like, you know, the moment of well, I say the jump, but after he lost to Billy Joe Saunders and he was supposedly on the comeback trail, etc., etc., he's been talking about Golovkin from the very first minute. Do you know what I mean? As soon as he,
but the thing is, sorry, Dave. The thing is he has been talking about Golovkin, but he's supposed to do that. His dad's supposed to do that. His dad's supposed to hype him up that way. But the reality is, when they were dealing with Hearn's a guy. If you say you want to fight, Hearn tries to make that fight happen. And when they made that fight happen for Eubank, Senior didn't want it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. That's the facts of it. That is the facts of it. That is the reason why Kell Brook stepped in. Kell Brook made what, $3 million from that fight or something like that? Yeah, that was it. 4. Okay, cool. Senior, yeah, of course it is. Like Senior, after that fight, Senior was like, oh yeah, you know, he's trying to, like, you know, Junior's not ready to receive that kind of money yet, and he was saying stuff like that. Yeah, do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, you know, because you realize you you try to bargain too hard and you let your opportunity slip you by. Yeah, do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, and to be honest, yeah, I don't think he's ever going to get that kind of opportunity again.
No, he wouldn't.
Whether he won, lost or draw against Golovkin, he would have got paid that handsome sum of money in that year. Do you know what I mean? Hopefully he's made decent money since then. You know what I mean? I can see that he's doing quite well for himself, but I'm just saying, in terms of like the actual big payday at that time and the marquee fight, kind of escaped him a little bit. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, to be honest, I don't even want to talk about Chris Eubank Jr. Man. I'm just like, you know what? Yeah, this guy, he's just like he's like a hermit, isn't it? Like a nomad. Yeah, do you know what I mean? He's just going from promoter to promoter and that. Hopefully he gets a big opportunity, but I don't see it happening, to be honest.
Yeah. Okay.
Big opportunities have passed them by, apart from if they can make.
That's not happening. Golovkin right now, he wants the Canelo fight. Yeah. On top of that, Murata, he's got the. Has he got the WBA belt? Is it the WBA?
Oh yes. He's
WBC. He's got WBC. He's big in Japan. Yeah, do you know what I'm trying to say? Yeah, they can sell tickets out there. Yeah, like why would Golovkin not want to try and make a fight with that dude? Why would he want to make a fight with Eubank Jr.? Do you understand what I'm saying? You're like, he's going to try and make a fight with that dude. And if he can't make a fight with that dude, he's going to try and fight Canelo. Canelo, all them guys, they're all on the same network. Yeah. Like Eubank, what network is Eubank going to be fighting on if he's with them guys? What's his network? What network do they fight? Is it the Zone as well?
No. He's not on the Zone, no. Not Sutherland. Their shows are typically on ITV, the World Boxing Super Series.
No, but that was on the Zone as well, though. You know.
It was. Yeah, actually,
that was on the Zone. Yeah.
In the US, was that?
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's the possibility based on network. I just think he needs to really distance himself from his dad and focus on his career. His dad was his own man, and he can't base his career, on what his dad did and his dad's decisions, because his dad does have his best interests at heart, but his dad is not as experienced as some management, and I don't think he's getting the best out of Eubank.
Yeah.
He's not managed his career correctly. Let's move on to the next topic. This is probably going to cause quite a lot of discussion.
Go on.
It's from a recent interview with Pacquiao. He's very confident of victory over Errol Spence.
Yeah.
He feels that Errol Spence is slower than Keith Thurman and that he'll beat him more comfortably. So we'll start with yourself, Tunde. How are you feeling about that statement?
Do you know what, Ryan? Like, I would be a bit premature to bet against Pac, but that's a lot of reckless talk.
Yeah.
That is very reckless talk, and he might get slept on the way Marquez did him in the last fight they had if he's not careful. Because he best mind he don't end up face down kissing the canvas, right? Because that is very reckless talk.
Yeah.
Really reckless talk. So I mean, I wouldn't bet against him, like somehow, snatching a decision.
Yeah.
I would be shocked to the core of my soul if he managed to stop Spence.
Yeah.
But I think he's 5 years past that sort of performance.
Yeah, agreed. David, what do you think?
I think that Pacquiao is making a mistake talking like that myself as well. I we've spoken about Errol Spence, how he's not quite, for me, he's not as good as Bud at adjustments, but he makes adjustments, and it'll be a great trade-off in terms of IQ. But I think Pac's been just a little bit dismissive, if I'm honest with you, and I do think he could pay for that sort of thing if he was to go into a fight with that sort of mentality. Because if you look over Manny Pacquiao's past, he doesn't really do the mind games as such. So he probably means what he's saying. And I do think it's a little bit dismissive. Yeah, it's a bit premature. Just a bit dismissive because, you know, there's no choice about it. Spence is gonna have his work cut out. We're talking about an elite fighter. We're talking about a living legend as far as boxing goes as well. But I think that both of them would have a lot of adjusting to do. Obviously, you know, it was being spoken about earlier in the group about how Mayweather just wiped the floor with Pacquiao. He was just a level above him. But I think I think Pac is putting himself in that position regarding Spence, and I think that could be a mistake. That could end up being his undoing if he's not careful. Because lest we forget, you know, Pac's failed the chin check a couple of times, whereas up to now Spence hasn't.
Yeah, not yet.
No.
Okay, so Lawrence, as you probably figured, we're discussing Pacquiao's statement that he thinks Errol Spence is an easier fight than Keith Thurman because he's slower. How do you feel about Spence's Pacquiao's statement?
It's all gassing it. Like, look, this is what I'm saying. Yeah, let's have it right. Yeah, like Pacquiao. Yeah, he's a legend. Yeah. He's done his bit in the sport. Yeah. What he done against Keith Thurman, I commend him. Yeah. He shouldn't have beaten a fighter like Keith Thurman. No, let me change that. Keith Thurman shouldn't have allowed himself to lose that fight. Yeah. But let's have it right here. Yeah. You know, we've been saying for a long time, Edge, I don't know what happened to him. It's like he went to the Tibetan mountains, bought a flute, got married to like some Tibetan girl, and just completely lost his edge in that, and just started like, I don't know, like writing folk songs and shit and just singing and that. I don't know what happened to Thurman. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what happened to him. Yeah, and we all knew this. We all knew Thurman was food. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Yeah, and it's like Pac, he's seen it, and this is something that Pac has done throughout his career, where he sees weaknesses and that in certain opponents and that, and then he will go for them. Like we because there's another discussion about this whole thing about, you know, who's had the best career, Floyd and Pac and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, and it's like anytime Mayweather fought someone, we saw him fight guys when they were coming off of their best wins. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Pac, it didn't matter whether those guys came off of losses or whatever. He picked when he fought these guys, and Thurman kind of falls into that. But in saying all of that, you have to still give him maximum respect for what he done against Thurman, because it was Keith Thurman and he's Manny Pacquiao. He's in his 40s now. Looking at Spence, again, we're talking about Spence now because Spence has come out of that car crash. Yeah, do you know what I'm trying to say? Yeah. So that's when the momentum kind of started happening about Pac actually talking about Spence and all of that. But seeing how Spence looked against Danny Garcia, we can see that the car crash, it hasn't taken everything out of Spence. Like Spence, he still kind of looked like Spence. He's probably just had a bit of ring rust. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like Spence is not Keith Thurman. Yeah. Like he is not Keith Thurman, and there's other factors as well that went into that fight as well. Whereas I'm pretty sure that Keith Thurman and Pacquiao, they didn't subject themselves to testing or nothing like that. Now I don't want to cast like any kind of dark shadows or nothing like that.
Hold on.
We can't disrespect Pacquiao. Nah, I'm not disrespecting Pac. I'm just saying. Yeah. It's Spence. I mean, is Spence really that hungry for the Pacquiao fight that he's going to allow Pacquiao to say, like, you know, no testing or whatever? I don't know. I'm just saying, I don't know. There's a completely different. If they have testing, all that kind of stuff, there's completely different elements that's dealing with Spence. Spence, yeah, he's a workhorse, yeah, and the amount of the momentum that he will be able to sustain throughout a fight against a 42-year-old fighter, like Pac's going out in the stretcher, mate. He needs to stay away from Spence, man. Like that's just it. He needs to stay away from Spence. He's gonna go out in the stretcher. Like, stay away from Spence, yeah. Stay away from Crawford. As a matter of fact, what he done against Thurman, that's a good note to retire on.
Yeah, real.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, that's a good note to retire on. You beat a champion in that year, like who defended his title for how many years or whatever. Retire. Don't go out on your backpack. Like, and that's what's gonna happen to him.
Yeah. Fantastic, brilliant points. And I pretty much agree. I think Pacquiao is a fantastic fighter. He's one of the best of his era. He is behind Mayweather, but he's still one of the top fighters of his era. but he was always very deliberate in his opponent selection, and it was usually after a poor performance or a loss. So Keith Thurman was out for 2 years when he got married. You're right. He went to Nepal. He had a red dot on his head, and then Pacquiao wanted to fight. So it says a lot, and there's history of that. Hassan got stopped by Mayweather. Pacquiao wanted to fight. Pacquiao said he didn't want to fight Shane Mosley because Shane Mosley was too good. And then Shane Mosley lost to Mayweather, and then Pacquiao forced him. So that history is there. So I agree. I think that Errol Spence is a very dangerous fight. But the car crash has probably incentivized him. I mean, all of the talk with Errol Spence and Terence Crawford about who's the A side and who's the B side, and I agree that Spence is the A side, but neither of the two are stars. They're probably quite similar in how well known they are, because some of Crawford's fights on free-to-air TV have done very well. But I've noticed there's no mention of Pacquiao calling out Crawford, and he's calling out Spence in their similar level opponents, and that's because he sees a weakness now after that crash, and that's what's incentivized him.
And this is the TBK podcast.